To our top story, Israel is now expanding its war operation into southern Gaza. The military campaign had been focused on the northern part of the Strip, but now Israeli Defense Forces are pounding targets in the south and ordering more neighborhoods to evacuate. Over the weekend, officials announced they have hit more than 400 Hamas targets, while the health ministry in Gaza claims hundreds of people were killed in these new Israeli strikes. The U.S. is urging Israel to protect civilians in the territory. Israel's expanded military operation comes just days after a temporary truce with Hamas collapsed. International leaders, however, were still meeting in the hopes a breakthrough could be reached. That was until Saturday, when Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pulled his negotiators out of Qatar and called off the talks, saying they reached a, quote, impasse with Hamas. In a statement, Netanyahu explained the terrorist group did not fulfill its part of the truce agreement to release all of the women and children it is holding hostage.
And again, the media's not focusing on this right now so much. But again, we have to go back to the beginning. Jeffrey Goldberg, we're actually dealing with a group. I mean, we have Israel negotiating with a group that seized 3-month-old babies while raping their mothers or shooting their mothers or burning their grandmothers or shooting their siblings. Kidnapped 3-month-old babies, this terrorist group, and took them back to the tunnels that they burrowed underneath Gaza, where they lived in terrible conditions for 55 days or so. I think the most surreal part of all of this is that we ever figured out a way. By I'm saying the civilized world ever figured out a way to sit down and have negotiations between Qatar, with a lot of pressure from the Biden administration, Israel, and then this terror group who glorified the shooting of babies in cribs, the burning of babies in cribs, the continual raping of women, Israeli women to death. And for some reason, the international community, forgive me, I saw a clip this weekend we're going to play later, but for some reason in the international community, Jewish women are somehow less protected than all other women in warfare. And the condemnation for the continued raping and killing of Jewish women in terrorist attacks for some reason is on a lower rung than it is for the rest of the world's women. But that's just a side note, a horrid side note about how the media covers this. Let's talk instead, though, about these negotiations. They've been cut off for now. But Netanyahu, who I hardly ever agree with publicly, I must say, in this case, he's right. Hamas made a promise which is worthless, and they broke their worthless promise.
Well, first, let's go to the concept of ceasefire, right? Everybody's demanding a ceasefire. There was a ceasefire until October 7th, obviously. Hamas broke the ceasefire originally. So if from the Israeli perspective and from America's perspective as well, in Western Europe, et cetera, people understand that, if you're looking at root causes of this current conflict, it goes back to the breaking of a ceasefire with Hamas's invasion. But, the odd phenomenon here, and it hasn't been discussed enough, I don't think, in the media, is that all along the way since October 7th, Hamas's leaders and spokespeople have been saying that various language you hear. October 7th was just a dress rehearsal. We're going to keep doing this again and again and again. People who understand Hamas understand that its goal is the destruction of the state of Israel. So obviously, if you're an Israeli leader or you're a supporter of Israel like Joe Biden is, you look at Hamas and say, there's day-to-day issues you could possibly negotiate with, but this group is very, very plain in its language. Its goal is to do this again if it's given the chance. So therefore, you find,
Jeffrey, the leader said we're going to do this again. Where every day is going
Yeah.
to be October the 7th.
Right. And so the goal of Hamas is to keep drawing Israel into Gaza. I mean, it's a kind of it's very hard sometimes for the American mind to get around Hamas's tactics. But you know, as one former Israeli prime minister once said, you know, the Israeli goal should be to limit the number of Palestinian casualties because Hamas's goal is to maximize the number of Palestinian casualties. Now, that's a reversal of the usual way things work in warfare. You, as the leader of a group, are supposed to try to limit the number of people of your group who get killed or injured. But it's in Hamas believes that it's in its best interest to maximize that. And, of course, the challenge to Netanyahu, and I think this is where that dialogue between Biden and Netanyahu is never ending, is don't give Hamas what it wants, but at the same time, you have to recognize that Hamas is not. You're not going to sit down at a negotiating table and come to a peace deal with a group that says over and over again, "Oh, as soon as we can, we're going to kill you." That's the difficulty of this situation.
Yeah.